Good. So the time is now 9:30, and that means that we can officially start today's webinar. So warm welcome, everyone. It's nice to see that we have that many joining us this Wednesday morning. We are, of course, always happy to see when our existing customers are showing interest in how you can actually develop your existing CRM solution so it becomes a more proactive and effective tool in your work. And during today's webinar, we are going to zoom in on what we call Lime BI at Lime. So this is our very own business intelligence tool. And before starting, it is important to mention that if some of you are experiencing trouble with the sound, please try to re-enter the webinar. Unfortunately, there has been some people during previous webinars that has lost the sound. And there's unfortunately nothing that we can do to prevent it. So should it happen to any of you guys and you don't know how to fix it, there is no need to panic because the webinar will be recorded and you will receive a link with the recorded version after today. My name is Victoria and I work as an account manager at Lime Technologies in Copenhagen. And with me I have...
Yeah, my name is Thu. And I'm a project manager, also here in Copenhagen. But elsewise, I'm also the Lime BI delivery manager. So it's almost 2 years since we got Lime BI. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And let's see. Good. Through today's agenda, we will cover the following topics. So we will talk about what is business intelligence and what do we use it for and how and why can we use it. We will also talk about some of the benefits of using business intelligence and see this from different perspectives. And then, of course, most importantly, we will take a look at what it actually looks like. And this is where Thu will show you a demo of our Lime BI. And last but not least, we will go through any questions that you might have. If you have any questions during today's webinar, please write them in the question function. You can find it in the webinar panel. And then Thu and I will go through them in the end. And we have approximately 30 minutes today, depending on how many questions that you have. Yes. All right. So let's get started. We can start off by asking and, of course, also answering the question, why use a business intelligence tool? And by visualizing data, we can actually improve transparency and we can make data more understandable. I think that most of us recognize a situation where data has been quite complex and quite difficult to understand. And since seeing is believing and visualization of data can actually help understand people, the results of their behavior and the results of their effort. So what behavior creates success and what should we spend our time on? It can also give us new and deeper insights. So where are we on track and where do we actually need or where can we actually improve? And the fact is that the data that we choose to measure on, the data that we choose to highlight will most often also be the thing that people actually choose to focus on. So it promotes a behavioral change. And that means that the visualization of data can actually spark motivation within individuals. And this can also be, even though they're not a typical sales rep, or even though they are not the most competitive individual. But what happens is that when we actually show data and we show progress and we show results, this is also what people often get an extra spark of, and they actually focus on the things that we measure. And then last but not least, the more available our data is, well, the better and faster can we actually react on it. Yeah. Good. But let's try and dig a little deeper into the why. So on this slide, we have Peter. And Peter worked as a sales manager in a medium-large company. And when working as a sales manager, Peter has a lot of job assignments that he needs to balance. So first of all, he needs to build and maintain client relations. He needs to recruit, hire, and train the sales team. He needs to work in close coordination with marketing, making sure that their efforts correspond. He needs to proactively pursue new businesses and sales opportunities. And then he needs to actually develop and implement new sales initiatives and strategies, along with the fact that he needs to support, coach, mentor, and give feedback to the sales team. But one of the most important areas is that he needs to keep track of sales, because Peter is, of course, a sales manager. So he needs to provide detailed and accurate sales forecasts. He needs to do reports, and he needs to keep the management updated on how they're doing and what the future actually looks like. So for Peter, he spends a lot of time in his CRM system, looking at the pipeline overview, which is what we see here. And this is, of course, because it's in the pipeline overview that he can keep track of sales. So in the pipeline overview, Peter is able to see, well, how many projects do they have? Where in the process are they? What size of the projects is there, and etc. And most importantly, what do they expect to close within the near future? So what is the expected order date? And all of that data is, of course, available for Peter in the pipeline overview. But what he needs to do is that he needs to filter in the different columns, and he needs to push some buttons before he sees the exact desired data that he wants. So what happens if Peter instead has the pipeline overview or the expected order date visualized like this? Well, through this visualization, Peter can easily see the spread of the pipeline, so he can see how many projects do they actually have, what is the value of the projects, and where in the process are they. So here he can easily see, well, November and December, they don't look very good compared to the previous months. And this might lead to the fact that they need to change their sales strategy before ending the year. He can also see back in time and see that actually quite a big percentage of their projects are within the qualification phase, meaning that they need to have a bigger focus on how can they move the projects in the qualification phase to the closing phase. And if we try to broaden your perspective a bit more and look at the sales dashboard that we have here, well, then we actually see that this sales dashboard does not only give Peter an overview of the current pipeline, but it actually gives him an overview of his entire sales data. So what we can call a 360-degree overview. The dashboard consists of both simple visualizations and simple numbers, but it also consists of what we call more advanced visualizations where we have different graphs shown at one visualization at once. So this means that with a business intelligence tool, Peter is actually able to report and analyze faster. He is able to make more accurate numbers, and he's able to produce real-time data. And this will also eventually improve his business decisions. And then, of course, the most important thing is that it reduces time thieves. So it reduces the time that he actually uses on administrative work. What is important to mention here is that Lime BI can, of course, also be used to other things than sales. So if you, example, have support, you handle your support tickets within your CRM solution, well, then you can create a help desk dashboard or a support ticket dashboard. And this is a dashboard where you can keep track of your support tickets. So how many active support tickets do you have? How many delayed support tickets do you have? And from what sources do they actually come from? So do they come from your homepage? Do they come from your chat, email, telephone, etc.? And with that being said, if you have marketing as a part of your CRM solution, but then you can, of course, also make a marketing dashboard. Here you can see, well, how are our send-outs actually doing? Are we doing the right effort within our marketing department? And all these types of questions and all these types of visualizations that you have seen so far can be made in Lime BI as long as the data is existing in Lime CRM. So Lime BI retrieves data from Lime CRM and visualizes it. And since seeing is believing, I think that it is time for us to take a look at what a Lime BI actually looks like. And that means it's time for Thu to give us a demo.
All right. Then I will quickly switch to the Lime BI screen. Yeah. So here you can see that Lime BI is reached through your web browser. So it's here I have using Google Chrome, and then in the middle you can see a lot of folders. So you have the possibility to sort and group your information and data visualizations. And you can, for example, have your own folder where you can test some things. But then you can also just save it in the bigger folder so that all your colleagues can see it as well. And then on the top, I have 2 dashboards pinned so that I can reach them easily. So for example, I have the sales overview. I will click into this one and then open one dashboard. So here I have, for example, customer visits per month. So here I get an overview of how many visits my team has made in the last month. I can see in January they did a lot of visits, but lately maybe they have not logged so much. Elsewise, on the right side, maybe it's sufficient just to have a number. Here we summarize the orders this month. So that's nice to see like how much have we reached already this month, also in comparison to last month. And elsewise down here, I have a split of my customers into the different classifications. In this case, we have like, for example, A, B, C, D customers. And here I can see that we have a lot of A customers, and maybe that's good because that's our aim. But here are still some holes, so I would like to fill them with some more visualization. So how do I create a new visualization? That is up here in Ask a Question. So when I click on this, I get different possibilities on how to build something. Simple question, custom question, and native query. Simple question is you can reach a visualization with a few clicks. Custom question, you can do simple math as well. And native query is when you are totally, when you have the skills as well and they can use SQL to write and get your data. But today we are showing you simple question and maybe also custom question later on. So when I click on simple question, I can actually either start from just my database or an existing question already. But in my case, I will start from our database. So when I click here, I get actually a list of all the different tables, which I also have in Lime. So it's like companies, deals, coworkers. And for example, I would like to see the order intake. So that information of the order is on the deals. So that's why I will click on here, on the deals. And when I'm opening the deals, then this view is probably pretty similar to what you know already from Lime CRM. You have the table view here with the different columns, which represent your different fields, and then the data underneath this. And from here on, I can filter my data. I said I am interested to see the order intake. So the order intake is, of course, deals which are won already. So then I can click on the deal status and filter on agreement. So only the deals which are closed already. And I can just say update filter here. And elsewise, I'm maybe not interested to see everything which is in our Lime because we have it already several years and that's a bit too much data. But I'm only interested in the last, let's say 12 months. Then I can also filter on the order loss date and say previous 12 months. And also I want to include this month. An update filter. Yes, so that was nothing new. This is similar to Lime CRM, but then, yeah, if I want to see my data a bit nicer, I also want to summarize by the value. So how much have we won? And that is in the value column here. And I can also simply click on this and say sum over time. And then something is happening. And the Lime BI is giving me a graph. I can see in the x-axis down here, it's summarized by the order loss date. And on the left side, on the y-axis, it's the sum of value. So I get an overview of how much we earned. So I can see, okay, last year, that was a bit better than right now. But otherwise, yeah, I'm happy with this. But the last step is that I can choose my visualization. So for example, if I don't like this line that much, I can change it to something else, for example, the bar chart. And also here in the options, I can change the color, of course, like I like yellow. Elsewise, I can also show the values on the data points. Then it's even easier for me to see how much exactly our order intake was per month. And yeah, and also have a trend line if I want to. But I'm happy right now, so I say done, and I will save my question. I can give it a name. I say last month per month, and I will save it. And then here, Lime BI is already asking me, do I want to add it to a dashboard? And yes, I do. So here I can add it to my sales overview. Quite a lot. This one. And you can see I have added it up here now. And yeah, here it's very simple. I can just drag and drop. Maybe I want it a bit bigger, like this, and just save up here. So this is very nice. But actually, yeah, if you want to edit the questions here, that is possible as well. You can just simply click on the title to jump back into the editing mode. So here I will do it in this case. Then I'm jumping back here to the simple question mode. And it's nice that I get the order intake per month, but I actually don't really know like how many deals is it. Like, is it, for example, in December that we had, I don't know, 5 very big deals, or was it just like one big deal here? I don't know that from this view yet. Yeah. And you saw as well already, like if I want more information, I always can mouse over to get the actual value as well. But I'm also interested to see the amount of deals connected, aligned behind those order intakes here. So this I can do with adding another metric that's up here in the summarize. Right now we're summarizing by the value. But I can add a metric which is called count of rows. And then you can also already see that something happened here already. And I get a blue bar as well. So the blue bar is the count, and the yellow is the sum of value. But yeah, now I think it's like 2 bars. I would like to change it to maybe one at a different visualization. So I can change that in the visualization options. So I can click, for example, in the bar, in the display, and say that I actually want the sum of value as a line. I like the more softer line as well, so I can click on here, for example. Then I'm done. But then here, for example, I can see in June, there were 13 deals, but only, we didn't earn that much. But also in February, it was also only 14 deals, but apparently bigger deals. So we earned a little bit more here. So this is very nice for me to see. So I'm happy with this. So I will save it as well again. And of course, because I started from an existing question already, you can actually see it up here as well. It says started from order intake last month per month in the very top left corner. I can either replace it, but because I want to keep both, I will save it as a new question instead. Last 12 months value and count. And again, I will save it to my dashboard. Thank you. Yes. So this is how you can use the simple question. I think I would like to show you also how the custom question interface looks like, because some people prefer also that. So I'll go to ask the question again and click custom question. And let's say, for example, now I have looked into what we have been reaching already in the last month. But let's say I would like to get an overview of what is happening in the coming month as well. So I'm interested in the expected orders. And that is, it's also orders again. So that I know is also reached through the deals. So I start with choosing deals. And as far as I can filter as well. This time, I am interested in the deals which are not closed yet. So in the future, as I mentioned. So I will choose customer contact, demand analysis, and quote. Those statuses. I'll add the filter. And because last time I was filtering on the last 12 months, but now I want to look in the future. So I will look at the expected order date and not the previous, but the next, let's say 6 months. 6 months. And also this time I want to include this month. I still want to see like what the sum is. So I choose sum of the value here. And I want to group it by the value. And also actually the expected order date. We can try already now to visualize and see what it will show. So now it will it's showing me two different graphs here. But actually I was thinking we can also take a look at how, because right now we don't know, like we have the 3 different statuses, customer contact, demand analysis, and quote. So I'm also interested in seeing the distribution of these. I think actually I will take that instead of the value too. So I'm using the deal status instead. So I visualize that. Again, here I don't like the lines too much, so I'm choosing the bar chart. And here you can also see like the expected order down in the x-axis, and the different colors are the different statuses we have. But here still, like for example, in November, I don't really know like what is the total amount. So here I actually can also stack my result and show the value here. Then I get the total value of November for this month, for example. And I can see there's this much in the customer contact, and there's also some in the quote. And then I will save it again because it's nice. Expected order. And as well, again, I will save it to my sales overview. exactly. And a last thing I want to show you before I hand over to Victoria again is actually like, yeah, I'm very happy with my dashboard here now. And this is a general dashboard. But also in here, of course, we have filtered our data beforehand, as I showed you, like with the last month, 6 months and next 6 months, for example. But we have also the possibility to filter on the whole dashboard in here. So for example, in the very left corner, I have added a coworker filter. So if Peter wants to take a talk with a specific coworker, for example, he could go in here and choose a coworker, let's say Anna, and add the filter to this dashboard. Now I have those 3 I have not added the filter on yet, but this one changed, and also this one and this one. So here I can see like these 3 are specifically for my coworker, Anna Hansen. So then I can take a talk like, oh yeah, you did very well in January. And you have a lot of responses for a lot of different customers. So that's great. So that is really up to us and you to decide, like design whatever you want. It's only the imagination, which is the limit. With this, I will hand back to Victoria.
So the question is probably now, how does this actually look in Lime CRM? And here we have 2 different examples on how Lime BI will look when you have it configured in your Lime CRM client. So if we start by looking at the Lime CRM solution on the right side, we have what we call the desktop client. And when you have Lime BI configured in your desktop client, you will get an extra tab called Overview. And it is in the Overview tab that you're able to see your Lime BI dashboards. On the left side, then we have what we call the web client. And in the web client, we can choose what specific questions, what specific visualizations that we want to see. So here we're able to see the specific visualizations and the specific questions on the start page. But there will also be a button where you're able to access the entire dashboard. And what is important to say here is that it is actually not necessary to enter your Lime CRM in order to see your different dashboards. We can send web links to specific dashboards if you want to share with colleagues. And you can actually also highlight specific dashboards if you have screens hanging around in the office. So if you want to show the sales dashboard within your sales department, or you want to show your customer service dashboard within your customer service department. Yeah. And that was actually what Thu and I had planned for today. It also matches with the time. But if you are more curious, which we hope that you are, please contact your responsible account manager. And if you don't know who that is, you're more than welcome to use the contact information that you have on the screen, and then we will guide you to the right person. And with that being said, I think it's time for us to look at some of the questions that we have received during the webinar. Let's see what we have here.
There was the one question about like how can you reach Lime BI? And it is it's another license. So I think that it would be easiest if you contact your contact person from Lime to ask about this as well.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then another question is, can you compare based on quarter rather than month? Yes, that is very flexible. Now we have just shown you month, but it can be weeks, days, quarter, a year. Yes. So that's very configurable.
Then we have one, are these dashboards saved specifically under my user ID, or are they also available for the rest of the team? Well, of course, you can be the one creating them, but as we said before, you can also share it with your team members if you want to.
Yeah, so that depends on you as well, and your needs.
And then we have another one that says, where does the data come from? And this is from your Lime CRM database. So all the data that you have within your Lime CRM database will also be available within Lime BI. So if you have any data outside, it cannot be shown in Lime BI.
But of course, like if you have a integration with
Yeah.
your ERP system to Lime CRM, then you get like financial data into Lime as well, and then we can take a look at it and visualize it through Lime BI as well, of course.
Yeah, then we have, when will this be available? It's available now, so yeah.
I think, yeah, you can just contact your contact person at Lime.
And the same goes with the fact, we have a question that said, what is the cost? And our suggestion is that you take contact to the person who is responsible for you as a customer within Lime Technologies. Was that all the questions that we had?
I think so.
So we got one more now.
Yeah, of course. Will the graphs be updated automatically when new data is entered in Lime CRM? Yes, of course, it's dynamic. So every time, for example, I log a new history in Lime and say I just visited a customer, it would come up in my customer visits graph as well.
Yeah.
Yes, so that is dynamic and immediate in that sense. Also in dynamic, for example, yeah, I have filtered on last 12 months. Of course, like if we are suddenly in January 2022 already, it will be still the last 12 months of that. So yes.
And that was the questions that we had today. So we would just like to say thank you for all of your questions, and thank you very much for participating in today's webinar.
And you will get a link to the recording as well, which you can share with your colleagues, for example. But have a nice day. Bye.